Welcome to Marvel Rewind, a Marvel Champions retrospective series. In this series, I will be tasked with defeating every villain in order, progressing from the core set to the latest release. The catch? I'm only allowed to use cards released up until that point. After defeating the villain, they each will be ranked in terms of their difficulty, determined by the cards available at the time. Thematic matchups, crazy boost effects, and sinister encounter cards await. Tune in every Tuesday for new episodes of Marvel Rewind. What's going on, guys? It's Char here, back with another episode of Marvel Rewind, a Marvel Champions retrospective series. I hope you guys are liking the new haircut, bit of a new look here, but it's the same old series we got for you guys. This week, we're taking on the Wrecking Crew, all four of them. We only have one here, and we are going to be using a Miss Marvel for that challenge. Let's get down to the table and see how it goes. Okay. So here we are at the table, and now if you've never played the Wrecking Crew before, this is just going to look absolutely insane, the setup. It's a multi-villain scenario, so there are four separate villains that we have to deal with in the scenario in order to win. The webcam is turned off today. Usually it's in this area over here, but the problem with that is that there's just simply not enough table space most of the time for the Wrecking Crew, so it has to be off today. I hope you guys aren't missing my pretty face and my new haircut. I'm just joking around, of course. But we're going to get into the actual setup. Again, this is going to look like a ton, but honestly, it is not too complex. Let's just start with the main scheme. It's called Breakout, and it pops at 6 per player. If this stage is completed, the players lose the game. Force response. After step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 threat on each side scheme. Move the active counter to the villain whose threat has the most threat. If there is a tie, the first player chooses, and if this stage is completed, players lose the game. It starts with 0 threat and goes up 1 per turn. So this pops at 6 threat, but the thing about this is that scheme is never directly added to this card, and that's one of the faults of the Wrecking Crew that maybe we'll see during this gameplay today. The setup, it says we put all of their separate encounter decks set up next to them, which is Day of Reckoning, Thunderstruck, Paladin, and Clear the Road. Oh, that's the name of their side schemes, but then we put their encounter decks in play also. And yeah, that is the main scheme. When we look at each individual Wrecking Crew member, they all have their own individual encounter deck that they play cards from for their activations or the encounter phase when the active counter is put onto them. And as we know from the main scheme, it says it moves to the villain whose scheme has the most threat. If it's already on the one with the most threat, it just stays there. But yeah, so basically we're just going to go ahead and shuffle up each of these individual encounter decks. Like normal for Marvel Rewind, we're just going to do this shuffling and set up part once, and then there will be a quick cut, and then we'll get into a game where we are victorious, get to show off a bit of the deck and whatnot. But we still have to shuffle up. All of these individual side schemes come in with a set amount of threat on them. So Day of Reckoning comes in with 6, Thunderstruck comes in with 5, Paladin comes in with 3, and Clear the Road comes in with 4. The thing about these side schemes is they can't be defeated while the enemy is still in play, which of course makes sense. It would make no sense if they could be defeated while the Wrecking Crew member is still there. But additionally, they have effects, force response when after threat is placed there, it checks to see if there's 10 or more, and then you get a bit of a nasty effect based on which one hits that 10 threat. So for example, I think Day of Reckoning does 2 damage to your identity. 2 damage to each friendly character, which can be crazy if you have a ton of allies. We have Thunderstruck here, which stuns each friendly character. That one's honestly not too bad. We have Paladin from Pile Driver, which says there's 10 or more threat. Each player discards the upgrade or support they control with the highest cost, which can be extremely nasty. Get rid of like a Helicarrier, Avengers Mansion. Not something we want. And then we know that Clear the Road for Bulldozers, his says that each player must discard the top 10 cards of their deck. All things considered, that's basically a nothing effect. Like maybe you get another encounter card a bit earlier, but that one's definitely the easiest out of all of them. We decided to play Miss Marvel today. There's a couple of reasons for that. One, like I was talking about the main scheme, it is extremely hard for them to scheme out. Like it's almost impossible for us to lose this scheme as long as we're just paying attention to the amount of threat on the main, because it goes up 1 every turn no matter the player count. And yeah, there's no standard or expert set in here that schemes onto the main. It always goes onto the side schemes, um, which is, it's a nice way of just not having to worry about scheme. I chose Miss Marvel for this because I like she has a lot of alter ego supports that we can take advantage of, since we can basically flip down with little to no worries many times. And it's a hero I'm not super privy on. I haven't played a lot of games in her. But I thought this would be a good showcase of her strengths. As you'll see, we do have a combo in here, which was known around the time that she released, due to a Q&A given, but it's a combo between Embiggen and Melee. Ton of fun. Hopefully you get to pull that combo off. Since it's a multi-villain scenario, it's just so much damage. It just gets so much value in this scenario in specific. So I'm really hoping we can show that off at some point in the gameplay today. Like I said, they take up a ton of table space. This is all their individual health here. We're playing on Expert, of course, and we're using the villain dial for our own health. So this should be a really interesting playthrough. We don't have the most space in the world to work with here, but we're going to be trying our best, and that's all we can do. Okay, I think that's basically it shuffled up, and we're just going to get to the game. Okay, so we start on Kamala Khan. We're going to go ahead and drop 6 cards here. I hope you guys like the new dice I got to check for threat, and I got them in basically all the aspect colors, so you'll be seeing them definitely in the videos from here on out. They're from Burger Tokens. I really like how you can just flip on one side. I don't have to pick it up, fumble with the dice. Really cool. Okay, let's look at this opening hand here. So we do have one of her alter ego supports. Reduce the cost of the next card you play by 1. That's really nice. I do like that. We have a double here, Haymaker. So we probably want to keep this because we're going to for sure play that. And then maybe we can just discard these 2. Yeah, we'll just discard 2 events here. And then see if we can get something else going. Embiggen is crazy, and Uppercut. Okay, obviously we need to get Embiggen down, and we need to get our support down. So let's go ahead and start that. Do we need to use the ability here? Teen Spirit. Discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard a Miss Marvel card and then add it to your hand. Let's just work through what we have first, and then we'll see if that's required. We're going to go ahead and spend 1 resource here with the Haymaker, and that's going to get down Nakia here. Apologies if I have no idea how to pronounce it, because I really do not. But for an alter ego action, we can exhaust her to reduce the cost of the next card we play this phase by 1, which I think we're going to do. So I'm going to exhaust that, reduce the cost of the next card, use a double, and then 1 more resource for 4. We're going to go ahead and get down the Avengers Mansion, which is really cool. Ton of setup on turn 1 already. She's basically, Nakia is basically a helicarrier for us. Let's go ahead and do an Avengers Mansion here. Chase them down. Do we want to use our Teen Spirit? Why not? Let's try and get 3 upgrades. We're going to discard until we discard a Miss Marvel card. Okay, we got the Biokinetic Suit. So instead, we're just going to pivot. We're going to spend the Chase them down to play the Biokinetic Suit down. And do we stay down is the question. I think we do. What's going to happen? All of them are going to get 1 threat on the main. And then Wrecker's going to scheme, probably pop this, and then we're going to take 2 damage. Yeah, I think we're completely fine with that. I think we're just going to keep this card in hand and ready everything up. Draw back up to our printed hand size of 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, I really like all of these cards. We do have the Melee and Embiggen combo basically ready. I just don't think we're ready to play the Melee yet. So we might actually just put it onto Bruno, but we'll see here. Okay. All right. So what's going to happen, step 1 of the villain phase, we're going to get 1 threat onto the main scheme here. Going and fumbling around here with this. And now it says we have a forced response. After step 1 of the villain phase, place 1 threat on each side scheme, and then move the active counter to the villain with the most scheme. So that's going to go up to 6, it's going to go up to 4, it's going to go up to 5, and then this one's going to go up to 7. So we do get to use the last of our dice here. So this is at 7 right now. So the active counter is going to move. It's going to stay here for Wrecker. Wrecker, he's going to scheme for a base of 3 and then a boost card for 5. So it's going to go from 7 up to 12. We're just going to have to slide this in here for the discard pile. So he schemed for 12. Sorry, he schemed for 5, so it's going to go from 7 to 12. What this force response says, After threat is placed here, if there's 10 or more threat here, deal 2 damage to each friendly character, and then remove all but 3 threat from this scheme. So this goes down to 3, and then this stays here, and we're going to deal 2 damage to each friendly character, so that's 2 damage to us, bringing us to 8. Then we're going to get a face-down encounter card from Wrecker. When reveal alter ego, the villain whose side scheme has the most threat schemes. So I think that's going to be Thunderball here. So he's going to scheme for a base of 3 boost. When reveal, deal 1 damage to each friendly character you control. Okay, so we're going to deal 1 damage to each friendly character. That's just 1 to us. We're down to 7. And that was a 3 boost. So it goes from 6 to 9. And at 10, we stun each friendly character. So we definitely do want to kind of keep that one in check if we can. And that's back to us. Okay, we need to plan out this turn a little bit. Maybe, so it's going to move to Thunderball next turn. He's going to attack us. What is his? It says after he attacks, deal 1 damage to each character you control, which I'm not a huge fan of here. We need the Embiggen down for sure. Let's spend an Avengers Mansion first. We got an uppercut. How can we play all of these? So we want to do this and Nakia for Embiggen. And then maybe we can do we care about Shrink? Do we play maybe Bruno? I'm not sure we care about Shrink really. I think stopping an activation from Thunderball is probably better since you want to play Mockingbird. I think we'll use our ability here. We'll discard cards until we get a Miss Marvel card. We got Red Dagger here. Okay. We need to get the Embiggen down for sure. So I think I want to spend Nakia to reduce the cost of the next card I play this phase. 1 resource to get down Embiggen. So if you guys don't know what Embiggen does, it says when you play an attack event, you exhaust it and you increase the amount of damage that event deals by 2. And then when we look at the melee card right here, it says hero action attack, deal 3 damage to an enemy, and then deal 3 more damage to another enemy. I know it's probably not showing up, but essentially it was ruled that Embiggen increases both instances of those damage. So instead of being 3 for 6, it turns into 3 for 10. The only thing is you have to split it among 2 enemies, but we kind of have the perfect scenario for that to happen. Okay, then what we want to do, I think we want to recover or no. Shrink isn't terrible. Like, I wouldn't mind playing it. It's just, maybe we go like 1, 2, 3 and then play big hands. So we can do 6 to an enemy. Or, yeah, 6 to an enemy. I think that might be their best play. So let's go ahead and for 3 resources here, we're just going to get rid of the Shrink and Bruno. We're aggression deck, so we're just going to go ahead and do that. We're going to play Mockingbird. After she enters play, let's stun an enemy. Let's do it to let's do it to Thunderball here, because it is the active counter is going to move to him. Oh, dropped a card. Oh. Okay. Then we're going to have Mockingbird go ahead and thwart for 1 here. Again, this is going to be tough on space. It's going to go down to 8. Mockingbird's going to take a consequential damage. I like to count how much damage they have. So she has 1. Then what we want to do is, do we heal or do we not heal? I think we'll just heal here. That's fine. We're just going to heal up, go back up to 10. So we're at 10. Then we're going to flip up here to Miss Marvel. Oh, we could have kept the big hands, actually, if we didn't heal. Is that better? We could basically burst down one of them if we do. Yeah, let's take that back. I forgot about her. Basically, the whole thing that makes Miss Marvel Miss Marvel. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? I'm going to go ahead and spend the biokinetic polymer suit. It generates a wild resource for an event. Spend 1 for the melee to play big hands. We're going to deal 4 damage to an enemy. I'm trying to see which one we should deal the damage to. I really don't like Pile Driver's threat thing he has, or like the upgrade with the highest cost thing he has going on. But I honestly don't think he's that big of a deal. Maybe we do it to Thunderball just to get him out of the way. So why not? We'll do it to Thunderball. So we'll spend big hands. We'll deal 4 damage. Then we have a hero interrupt, and you play an attack event, exhaust and big, and increase the amount of damage by 2. So instead of doing 4 damage, it's going to deal 6 to Thunderball heal here, bringing him to 10. Then we're going to use Ms. Marvel's response, Morphogenetics. After you play an attack, thwart, or defense event, this is an attack, we can exhaust Ms. Marvel and return it to our hand. So we'll just, it goes to the discard, we'll just return it to our hand, and we'll keep that. I think we'll just draw up now. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, sneak by. A couple good ones here. All right, we're going to ready up. Okay. So step 1 of the villain phase. What's going to happen is it's going to go up by 2, and then all of these are going to increase to 6, to 5, to 4, and to 9. Thunderball is going to try and attack us, but he cannot because he is stunned. And then he's going to reveal an encounter card here. Hero, the villain whose side scheme has the least threat attacks you. Okay. Whose side scheme has the least threat. So Wrecker is going to be swinging on us here. It says, while Wrecker is attacking, he gets +2 if his attack is undefended. I think what we're going to do is we're just going to block with Mockingbird here. So he's going to swing for a base of 3. Oh, the active counter should have moved here as part of step 1 of the villain phase. 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that's 6 damage there. What are we going to do? Yeah, Mockingbird is defeated. Okay, Mockingbird, she did her job. She did her job. Okay, and then I think that's back to us. Okay, so I think we can definitely just knock out Thunderball here. And then what's going to happen is Bulldozer's going to start attacking us. All right, what do we want to do? We do these for big hands. Well, let's start with an Avengers Mansion first of all. See if that changes our turn at all. Tigra. Okay, Tigra isn't, I mean, it's not like a huge deal here. I think we just go ahead and knock out Thunderball here. I think there's no reason not to. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and spend these 2 resources. Yeah, these 2 resources here. Let's go ahead and play a big hands onto Thunderball. So what's gonna happen is we're gonna spend big hands and we're gonna use our hero interrupt. When you play an attack event, exhaust and begin and increase damage by 2. So it's going from 4 to 6 here. We're gonna deal 6 damage to Thunderball. That's gonna go ahead and bring him down to 4 health. Then what's gonna happen is we're gonna exhaust after you play an attack or thwart event, exhaust Ms. Marvel and return that to your hand. We're gonna get our big hands back. Then what we're gonna do is I think we keep the Tiger in hand or the sneak by. I think we'll keep Tiger in hand. Let's go ahead and exhaust our suit, spend a sneak by, and play another big hands. So that's 2 resources because this one generates for an attack event or any event. Deal 4 damage to an enemy. We're just gonna go ahead and knock out Thunderball. So Thunderball is gone. So that's pretty good for us. I assume this is going to move to the one with the highest threat anyways. So it just says this card cannot leave play while Thunderball is in play. I actually have to look up if I need, does his side scheme get removed when he's defeated or not? I need to actually double check that. So give me a second. Okay, so I obviously wanted to ensure as little rules mistakes as possible. Yes, I was correct. After the villain is defeated, their side scheme and everything is removed. Any of their encounter cards stay in play if they had attachments or anything, but Thunderball didn't have anything in play. So we're just going to go ahead and remove all of this. Thunderball is defeated, which is really good for us. We get a little bit more space in the play area here. I'm just going to set him off to the side. And we'll move some of these guys over a little bit. Give Wrecker a little bit more space. And Pile Driver get a little bit more space. And then, yeah, Bulldozer can get a tad more right here. And yeah, there we go. So clear up some space on the table for sure. Just good. Just, yeah, it's cool. Okay, so I played double big hands that turn to knock out Thunderball, and then we still have the rest of our turn left. We're exhausted. I think we definitely want to flip down here. We know we're not going to get schemed out. But this is going to happen, and we're going to discard 10 cards from the top of the deck. That's completely fine with me. And yeah, so we're just going to go ahead and flip down here. I don't think we need to use this ability. I mean, we could, because instead of playing a mirror, what we could do is just get Tiger out. I'm not sure if that's really worth it. So I'm just going to use Nakia here to reduce the cost of the next card I play this phase by 1. Let's go ahead and play a Mirror Con down. And then we can exhaust him to put a card from our discard pile to the bottom of our deck and draw a card, which is crazy because we'll know exactly what cards are coming up. I think we'll just leave the Tiger in hand, or do I? Yeah, let's just leave it in hand. And then we'll just ready everything up here. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw up 5 more cards. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Melee. Okay, that's really good. We should be able to play that this turn. All right. So what's going to happen is that step 1 of the villain phase is going to go up to 3. Then we're going to do the force response. We're going to increase all these other ones by 1 as well. Go to 6, and then this one's going to go to 7. The active counter moves to the villain with the most threat, so it's going to stay on Bulldozer. Bulldozer is going to scheme for a base of 2 against us. It's a base of 2. 3 damage, or sorry, 3 schemes. So it's going to go from 7 to 10. So this is going to activate. So the force response, charge. After threat is placed here, if there are 10 or more threat, each player must discard the top 10 cards of their deck and then remove all but 3 threat from this scheme. Okay, so it's 10 cards here. Let's see what we're losing. Power of Aggression, 1, 2, Sneak By, 3, another Power of Aggression, 4, Hulk, 5, Chase them down. 6 is Endurance, 7, ooh, Nick Fury. 7 Nick Fury, 8 Big Hands, 9 a double, and then 10 downtime. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right. So all of those are in our discard. How many cards do we have left in deck? I think we're about to get an encounter card, right? Yeah, we have 4 left. Okay. And I think that is back to us. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I only have 5 cards in hand. Uh-oh. Wait, why do I only have 5? Did I not draw up the right number? I kept Tigra. Oh, I kept Tigra and I drew 4. That's pretty easy fix here. So we'll just go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it was Power of Aggression. Should be our 6th card, which means that we discard 1 more, which was the Helicarrier. Okay, that should fix that. Yeah, because I should have 6 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Looks good, looks good. All right, so what are we going to do here? We could definitely start dealing some damage. We don't want Pile Driver to get this ability off to remove our Avengers Mansion, so I think he will probably be the next person we target down. But if we do that, then Wrecker's going to attack us, so we need something in play so we don't get defeated. Oh, it's going to be 2 activations from Wrecker as well. Okay. So I think we want to start off with, let's just do it okay, wait. Let me see if we should use our Miss Marvel ability first. 1, 2, 3. So how many Miss Marvel cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so there's 8 in the discard. 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, 13, 14. Okay, we have 14, so we should have 1 Miss Marvel card left in the deck. So let's go ahead and use our action. Okay, so we're going to discard until we pull a Miss Marvel card. We got Wiggle Room, which is pretty good defensive end if we're worried about surviving here. Then I think what we want to do is probably, do we get a Nick Fury? What do we put at the bottom of our deck? Let's exhaust the Mirror Con, place 1 card from the discard pile at the bottom of our deck, then draw 1 card. think it's just Nick Fury. Mockingbird's not bad. Yeah, let's just do Nick. We know we're drawing into him next turn. So we'll just put him at the bottom. 3-card deck, and then we're drawing a card. Uppercut. Okay. We have a 9-card hand on Miss Marvel, which is crazy. And we still have so many resource generators. So we need a plan here for sure. We want Tiger out just in case we need a block, I think. I think we could just go ahead and play a melee. So let's try and plan this out. Reduce the cost of the next card you play by 1. Oh, wait, Avengers Mansion. Man, if we had 1 less card in deck, that would have been crazy because then we could have just drawn into the Nick Fury. That's okay. I think we'll spend the Mansion now. We got another melee here, which is really good. Yeah, the melee is going to be doing so much damage here. Okay, what do we want to do? Let's plan this out. So we have a resource generator here, a resource generator here. So we want Tigra down for sure. So let's go ahead and, I guess these 3 can be Tigra. Okay. Then what we want is we want to play a melee. So we're going to do a melee here with these 3. Oh, wait, I guess we can keep the uppercut. These 2 plus the biopolymer. Then we're going to exhaust and probably get it back to our hand. And then we could do another melee. Or a big hands. Keep double wiggle room in hand. I do like that. It's going to draw us into new cards, and it's going to prevent us from taking some damage. I think we'll do that. Yeah. Okay, so let's start this. We're going to use the Nakia alter ego action to reduce the cost of the next card I play face by 1. Tiger is a 2 cost, so we're going to spend the power of aggression here to go ahead and play her down. She has a response. After she attacks and defeats a minion, heal 1 damage. There are no minions in play as of yet, so we're just chilling on that. I think we're going to flip up here into Miss Marvel. We're going to spend the biokinetic polymer suit to generate a resource for an event, spend a double to play a melee. So we're going to deal 3 damage to an enemy and 3 damage to another enemy. We're going to go ahead and exhaust and big in. When you play an attack event, exhaust and big in increase the amount of damage that event deals by 2. The combo in this deck is, since it's 2 different instances of damage, it actually increases it by 4 here. So it's 5 and then 5. So who do we want to deal 5 damage and then another 5 to is the question. I think we want to do it to, I mean, do we leave Pile Driver and then try to just take out the other ones? That like might be the play. We have an uppercut that deals 5. So we do 5 and 5. We have 5 more, 2 from Tigra. We still don't have enough from Miss Marvel. Or do we keep doing the spread damage? That's the question. Man, I'm not actually sure here. I think what we want to do is, let's just do 5 to Pile Driver and then 5 to Bulldozer? No. 5 here and then 5 to Wrecker, I think. So this will bring Pile Driver down to 9. We're going to take a Retaliate because it's printed on his card. It's going to bring us down to 6 health. So we'll do 5 there, and then we'll do 5 to Wrecker, bring him down to 13. Okay. Oh wait, this guy, he gets +3, but this one gets overkill. So maybe we don't do that. We'll do 5 to Bulldozer. That's fine. Okay. We still take that Retaliate. Then we're going to exhaust to trigger Morphogenetics. After you play an event, we'll add it back to our hand. We got another melee here. Maybe we just do a big hands and then save the melee combo for next turn. Keep the double wiggle room melee in hand. Yeah, I think big hands probably is what we want to do. We'll just spend these 2. We'll play a big hands here. We're going to deal 4 damage to an enemy. Let's do 4 to Pile Driver here to bring him down to 5. So hopefully we can just knock him out next turn. That's going to go ahead and bring us down 1 more health to 5 health. Do we want Pile Driver to activate against us? I think we don't really care about that. So probably, I think we'll just have Tigra swing for 2 onto Bulldozer here, bringing him down to 8 health. Tiger's going to take a consequential. And I think we'll just keep these 3 in hand and then draw up. We know we have Nick Fury coming up. Right, there he is. That's 4 and then 1 more card. We get a face down encounter card from Bulldozer. Okay. Shuffle up and get 1 more card here. Okay, 1 more. Ooh, the Genius is so good here. Okay, and then we do get an encounter card from Bulldozer because he is the active villain right now. We're just going to ready up. We have 5 health here. We just have to survive 2 encounter cards and an attack. So Black Breakout is going to go up by 1 to 4. The Force response, all these other ones are going to go up and go up by 1. So this one is now going to be at 7. And then we move the active counter to the villain whose scheme has the most threat. So it's going to move to Pile Driver here. He's going to attack us. I think we're just going to take this and spend that wiggle room. And you take any amount of damage from 3 of that damage. Yeah. Okay, we're not gonna defend here. We're gonna have Pile Driver attack us for 3. A boost, you are confused. So he's just attacking us for 3 damage. We were confused here. But then we're just going to go ahead and just get rid of that by spending a wiggle room. When you would take any amount of damage, prevent 3 of that damage, and draw a card. So we're going to take 0 damage from that attack. Oh my goodness, we have 2 doubles and a Nick Fury. This is an insane hand. Okay, then we got an encounter card from Pile Driver, but we resolved Bulldozers first. Held hostage, attached to the active villain's side scheme. Threat cannot be removed by the scheme from thwarting. Hero action, the villain corresponding to the attached side scheme attacks you, then discard this card. So we can't remove threat from Pile Drivers, which is basically a nothing encounter card. And then we have escape plan. When revealed, you are confused. If you are already confused, Pile Driver schemes. Okay, so this Pile Driver is going to scheme against us because we are confused. So he has a base scheme of 2. Let's see if we can get a low boost here. So 2, and it's a boost card. Move the active counter to the villain with the least threat on his side scheme. The villain schemes. Okay, so we're going to resolve this first. He schemed for 2 against us. This goes from 7 to 9. So we're going to go 9. Then the active counter is going to move to the villain with the least threat on his side scheme, and then they scheme. So the least threat right now is Bulldozer. He's going to go ahead and scheme against us. That's going to be for a base scheme of 2. Boost. If this attack is undefended, discard an upgrade you control. This is not an attack, so it's just going to go up to 6. Okay, there's a whole lot of things they did there that didn't really amount to very much, sadly for them. So let's keep this going. We should basically sort of be in the end game for this game right now. We should be able to knock out both Pile Driver and Bulldozer this turn. So, yeah. So what are we going to do here? Let's go ahead and just spend an Avengers Mansion. Let's draw a card. Let's see what we get. Bruno. Okay. I think we just spend these 3 resources here. Let's go ahead and play down a Nick Fury. Why not? We're going to use his ability to draw 3 cards. We got a Lockjaw, Power of Aggression, and Uppercut. Okay. Then we're just going to do some damage here. We're going to use that melee combo, like we said, is so good. Yeah, we're going to just spend... We're going to spend the Power of Aggression plus the Biokinetic Suit. Power of Aggression is 2 resources for an aggression card to play melee. Deal 3 damage to an enemy and then deal 3 damage to another enemy. We're going to go ahead and exhaust it big in here. It's an interrupt. When you would play an attack event, increase that event's damage by 2. So instead of doing 3 and 3, melee does 5 and 5. So we're going to do the 5 damage here to Pile Driver. That's going to bring him from 5 down to 0. And since we knocked him out, we do not take that retaliate. We're going to do the other 5 to Bulldozer here. It's going to bring him from 8 down to 3. So that is Pile Driver knocked out. Here we're going to go ahead and pick all his cards up and, you know, get more space on the table. So he is gone. All that threat, pile it on, was about to happen, but he did not scheme for enough. And we'll just put him off to the side. And then this is also removed as well, because that scheme is no longer exists. Sad to say. All right, here we go. Have all this extra room now, which is very nice. Oh, he had a different discard pile. It was up here. Had it in 2 separate areas. Okay, and yeah, we're getting to the end of the game here for sure. It looks like only Wrecker is gonna be left standing against us. Oh, do I want to get melee back to my hand is the question. Let's think about this. Melee would do 3 and then 3. I mean, yeah, why not? Let's go ahead and exhaust this Marvel, and we will take the melee back into our hand. After you play an attack, thwart, or defense event, then what I think we're going to do is, I think we're just going to spend these 3 resources. We're going to spend these 3 resources here. We're going to play another melee. Hero action attack, deal 3 damage to an enemy, deal 3 to another enemy. So we're going to deal 3 to Wrecker here, the first damage on him. And then we're going to do 3 to Bulldozer, which is going to bring him from 3 down to 0. That is another KO here. And then the active counter is going to move to Wrecker. That is another one. So we defeated 2 of the Wrecking Crew members in 1 turn. All that's left is their leader. Well, it looks like the leader to me from what I understand, but all we have left is Wrecker. He's the most stats, and he is not looking too hot for him, if I do say so myself. And yeah, this is his health. So this is all we got left. Wrecker is standing against us, and the wind here. We're just gonna have Tigress swing for 2, and then Nick Fury swing for 2 again. That's gonna be 4 damage onto Wrecker, bringing him down to 11. And I think we're not even gonna flip down. There's not really like a reason to. Tiger's going to take a consequential. Nick Fury's going to take a consequential. And yeah, I think that is our turn. Do we keep the wiggle room in hand? I think we can just, yeah, I think we can just discard it here. And let's draw up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Endurance, shrink, sneak by, big hands, melee. Yeah, this is definitely the game here. Okay, it's ready up. Maybe we should have just kept the wiggle room just to be safe. I'm not really sure. I'm not the most versed on the Wrecking Crew encounter deck, but we're about to see. Breakout is going to go up to 5 here. So if we let this go up one more time, we would have lost the game. But we doesn't look like we're going to be able to, and there's no way to add extra threat to that other than from step 1 in the villain phase. The force fault's going to go off. This is going to go from 6 to 7, and then now Wrecker is going to attack us. So if he's attacking, he gets +2 attack if the attack is undefended. We're just going to block with Nick Fury here. So it's a base of 3, which is a lot of damage. Wrecker gets +3 attack for this activation unless you put 2 threat on his side scheme. We're just going to give him 3 attack, so he's swinging for 6 into Nick Fury. He does not have overkill. Nick Fury is defeated here, and then we have 1 encounter card to deal with. We're going to flip it. Corrupt Prison Guard with a guard here. Okay. All right, so we have 3 damage here. Guard we have to deal with. But that should be fine. Let's go ahead and spend an Avengers Mansion here. We're going to draw. We have a big hand. Maybe we do flip down this turn just in case. We do have to thwart 1 off of the side scheme, but we're confused. Yeah, this is a bit interesting. He's not like, you know, he's going down with the fight. I'll put it like that, because the guard, I'm not sure how the order of this resolves for melee. If I was sure, I would just do 5 here and then 5 to him. So because I don't know how that actually resolves, do we still have it even without doing that? Like, can we do a... How many big hands? We have 2 big hands in our hand. So this is 1, 2. Exhaust. Exhausted and get it back. 1, 2, and then I still don't think we have it. So I don't think we have enough cards to play all of these. So we have, okay, hold on. 1, 2 here. Okay. Then 1, 2. We add it back to our hand. We just don't have that last resource. Okay. This is interesting. I think we just do the safe play because I don't actually know how that works with guard. It's just a weird fringe ruling that I just rather not mess with. We're going to thwart for 1 off of the main here. We're just going to bring it back down to 4. Tiger's going to be defeated here, which is totally cool. We just don't want to lose to the main. I'm fine with taking 2 damage. Yeah, then we're just going to do what Miss Marvel does best, and we're going to play some events. So we're going to spend Shrink in our Polymer suit so we can play a Big Hands. That's 2 resources. We're going to do 4 damage to an enemy. We're going to do it to the Prison Guard. It's going to go ahead and knock him out because he had guard. And then we're going to exhaust Miss Marvel. Let's add the Big Hands back to our hand here. Then what we're going to do is... yeah, I think what we'll do is just... There's so many Big Hands sneak by melee. Spend 2 more resources here to play a Big Hands. We're going to do a 4 damage to an enemy. We're going to target Wrecker. We're going to exhaust and Biggin to increase that by 2. So it's going to go from 4 to 6 damage. It's going to bring Wrecker down to 5. We have a Big Hands still left in our hand. Yeah, we're just going to flip down here. We know we're not going to scheme out. He's probably going to deal 2 damage to us from his main scheme. Let's go ahead and play Nakia here to reduce the cost of the next card we play this phase by 1. Let's get down in endurance. It's going to bring us from 5 health back up to 8. Nice and healthy. That 3 extra health. This is her pack is the pack that endurance debuted in. Let's do and we don't really need to use a mirrors effect here. We'll keep the Big Hands in our hand and then draw 5 cards. 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, this is way more than enough here, but let's do the villain phase. It's going to go up by 1, up to 5. The force response is going to go up to 8. Wrecker's going to scheme against us for a base of 3. Wrecker gets plus 3 attack. Okay, let's give him 3 attack. It's not even an attack, so he's scheming for 3. So it's going to go from 8 up to 11. When it's adding threat, if it's at 10 or more, we're going to deal 2 damage to each friendly character. So we're going to take 2 down to 6. And then everything but 3 is removed from there. And then we get an encounter card. And let's see what it is. Crowbar Toss. Wrecker schemes. Then move the active villain counter to the villain whose side scheme has the least threat. Okay, so he's going to scheme again here for a base of 3. Does he have a 4 boost? 3, 4, 5. So it's going to go from 3 up to 8, which is kind of scary. I mean, he could have, if we are at 4 health, and he was able to pop this twice. I mean, that's 4 damage. But nope, that's basically the end of that. Let's go ahead and spend an Avengers Mansion here. We got another Big Hands. Let's spend a Mircon. Why not? Let's put a Big Hands at the bottom of our deck. And then we can draw a card. And a Mockingbird. Yeah, we just have a ton of stuff here. Let's do Nakia. We're going to reduce the cost of the next card. We play this phase by 1. We're going to flip up. We still have that -1 cost reduction. I mean, why not? Let's just play a Big Hands. Or maybe we just get Mockingbird down. Why not? Nah, let's do damage. Let's play a Big Hands. We'll spend a downtime. A Big Hands only costs 1 because of Nakia. We're going to deal 4 damage. Let's make that 6. So you go from 5 down to 0. So that is Wrecking Crew defeated. But let's see how much overkill we can get. Let's exhaust Miss Marvel. Let's add the Big Hands back to our hand. Then what are we going to do? We're just going to play another one, I think. Just do it again. We're just going to spend our Biokinetic Polymer Suit and sneak by to play a Big Hands. We're going to deal 4 more damage. So we're at 5 overkill right now. Let's see what else we can do. Let's do, I think another Big Hands. Why not? What's the most optimal we can do? I guess it's play Hulk and then another Big Hands. Yeah. Okay. Spend these 2 resources for another Big Hands. We're going to deal 4 damage to an enemy. So we're at 9 overkill. And then we're going to spend this double strength to play the Hulk down. We had 6 health. Let's have him swing for 3 for 12 overkill. But he does have a force response, which means we have to discard the top card of our deck. And let's see what it is. Oh my gosh, the punch resource. So we're dealing 2 more damage. That is 14 overkill. And that is the Wrecking Crew defeated on Expert Miss Marvel limited card pool. You know how this series goes. Let's get down to the table and check out the deck list. Okay, so here we are at the table of the deck list. Camera back on because we don't need all the space for the Wrecking Crew. I don't mean this with hyperbole. This playthrough might have single-handedly turned around my entire idea on Miss Marvel as a champion. I'm coming back to this series as a much better player and a much better understanding of what the designers were going for when designing these heroes. I was not an event player at all. I still don't think I am going to be, but I do understand her play pattern, and this was a ton of fun. And Biggin, this card is absolutely crazy. And then getting her out of that protection precon, which I think is unironically the worst precon in the game, if not one of the worst. It's definitely up there. It is like completely non-functional, but none of this about our precon or anything. Let's get to the deck list. It was a ton of fun, such a great playthrough, and I was able to show off Miss Marvel's strength really well, especially that melee combo, which was just so powerful. So we have her 15 specific, identity specific cards here. She just has really good stuff. She has like 1 cost resource generator. She has like kind of like pseudo backflips with like reduce the damage by 3, which is still meaningful, and you get to replace the card in your hand. She might have a little too many alter ego supports, and her allies kind of whatever. I mean, her attack events are kind of whatever. Her thwart is good if you have shrink, but man, she really comes alive when you supplement it with these other events and other aspects and the basic ones. So we have a triple haymaker here. I was really just trying to lead into that aggression, dealing damage. You know, you can't get schemed out really at all in this villain scenario. So I'm like, why not just go full damage? We're on triple haymaker here. Never played it. There was almost always a better card in my hand to play. But if there wasn't, it was an option in case we needed it. Double chase them down just in case we needed some threat management. Honestly, I was really hurting to find cards to really fill out the deck in this episode. I kind of had an idea. I just wanted full damage, and I was like, man, what the last 2 slots, these were the last 2 additions I put in to chase them down just because. Honestly, there was no reason behind it. I just didn't want to put in, like, I could have done another Avengers Mansion, another Helicarrier, but I think it's kind of a running meme that I'm just not doing that at this point. We have triple uppercut here. It's 3 for 5. You know, with the Embiggen, it's 3 for 7, almost a swinging web kick. The melee is absolutely crazy. 3 for 6 damage turns into 3 for 10. It's just crazy, specifically in this scenario too with the multi-villains. It's so good against the Wrecking Crew. But yeah, that's the aggression and basic events. Let's get into the upgrades here. So for the basic supports and upgrades, we have the 1 endurance that came in her pack, so it's fair game. We have the Helicarrier here. We have an Avengers Mansion. These are just classics. They're basically going to be in every deck. We had a downtime. This is another one of the cards where I was like, I need to fill out space here. There wasn't any more attack event. Your alter ego gets +2 recovery, so I would have taken Miss Marvel from 5 recovery, which is crazy, by the way. It's because she has that, you know, she's got that X gene, but not really at this point. She's the Inhuman, and then we have the alter ego gets +2 recovery. Would have changed the recovery from, what is it? Yeah, 5 to 7, which is absolutely crazy. You flip down, get a full heal, especially in this scenario where flipping down isn't punished basically at all, which is some like minor harmful effects from the side schemes, and it's a recipe for success. For our resources here, we've got our triple basic doubles and then the 2 aggression doubles. Pretty standard here for a limited card pool. We want the most economy that we can, so we're just going to max out. For our allies, we're basically maxed out on every single ally that's available to us at this point. We're on Mockingbird, we're on Nick Fury. Lockjaw was interesting. Of course, this is an event-focused character, so most of the time you're spending on event. But if you truly had nothing to do in your hand and Lockjaw is in your discard, just spend the 4, you get an ally, you get either 2 activations or an activation and a block. Really good. Hulk is basically here for like a shield for us, but we were able to attack and deal 5 damage with him at the very end, which is cool. And Tiger here is just another. There are some minions in this. You know, I'm not going to say there's no minions in their encounter decks, but again, it was basically there where she could deal a couple of damage, serve as a block for us, and just, you know, delay the villains a bit. But yeah, that's the deck list. It was a ton of fun, and let's get to seeing where the Wrecking Crew stacks up for the rest of the villains and Marvel Champions. Well, here we are at the end of the episode yet again, and we're trying to see where the Wrecking Crew stacks up for the rest of the villains and Marvel Champions so far. So the Wrecking Crew, I think personally, as like a fun factor, the scenario is a ton of fun. It does take a while to set up, which is a bit of a hindrance at the beginning, but the fact the active villain counter moves around, you know, you have these different villains to deal with. I just think thematically it's really cool. It was the first of its kind in the game at this point, and I will say I think they had a little bit of learning to do, which was kind of rectified in later multi-villain scenarios. But on pure fun factor, I love the Wrecking Crew. They're so much fun. But there was definitely some big design oversights, which we're going to get into now. Yeah, the main thing that I noted as soon as we were doing the setup or we were starting the game is that you literally cannot lose to scheme in this scenario. Like, objectively, I guess if you're looking at it, literally you can, because the main scheme does go up by 1 every single turn, and if you just completely ignore it and you never ping even 1 threat off the main scheme, it can hit 6 per player, and then you'll lose the threat, the game to scheme. But if you're just even not even half paying attention, just barely paying attention, you're like, oh, it's gonna go from 5 to 6. It doesn't even increase by 1 per player count. It's just 1. So scaling into multiplayer games, it goes from 6, 12, 18, 24 threat. It still only goes up once every turn, and that is just, you literally never have to worry about the main popping. You just ping it every once in a while for 1 scheme. None of their encounter cards interact with the main scheme at all to make you scheme out. So the only thing you really have to worry about is the active villain and what their 10 scheme effect is. I think in solo specifically, I don't think the Wrecking Crew are very difficult at all. Obviously, I was playing a good build. I was playing Miss Marvel. The melee combo with Embiggen is just crazy. Just 10 spread damage for 3. It's just very efficient. And then she can play it again to either change that from like 8 damage to each of them, or maybe she can play a different event. It's just absolutely crazy. Of course, she obviously has a good matchup into them, but it's just almost any hero has a good matchup into them, because the effects they do, while they're kind of nasty, there's only one that really, in my opinion, sets you back a ton, which is the one that removes your upgrades, your supporter upgrades, the highest cost one. I think it's Pile Driver's side scheme. The other one is like deal 2 damage to each character. If you're just setting up on them, there's only character is your hero. One of them is discarding 10 cards, which again isn't like a huge deal. And then the last one was you stun each character you control, which again, a stun for like letting it scheme out. These are basically non-existent detriments. If you don't know that trick, I was trying to think of this perspective. If you don't realize that you can just flip down literally anytime you want, they can be kind of difficult. They got some good like encounter cards. They got extra activations. They have boost effects that make the other ones activate. It is scary, and they can really snowball these 10 damage, like these 10 threat effects over and over if you're staying and trying to fight them only in hero mode. But if you really, lean into their weakness, which is just being able to flip down whenever you want, healing up, taking advantage of the extra hand size, they're just not difficult in the slightest. If we're looking at, for the bounds of this series, we're looking at true solo and, good knowledge, a good player. The point of this series is for me to improve as a player, of course, but also I think at this point in the game, the early design, I can't see them going anywhere higher than F tier. They're just not difficult in the slightest. I could have stayed flipped down basically almost the entire game, and they would have not put any pressure on me at all. Their encounter decks are still way too large for them to feasibly actually, deck out and then put an acceleration on the main scheme to put a threat. They're just not difficult in solo at all. This is a toss-up, which one is easier? I mean, Green Goblin actually does deal some damage when he flips over to his form, and you can get lots of the counters. I think Wrecking Crew is going to already dethrone Risky Business as the easiest scenario in the game. I'll just say it there. Maybe it changes when I reevaluate it later. But yeah, that's where they're going to be placed. Still a ton of fun. I think with multiplayer it gets a bit more difficult and it can be more fun. But yeah, let me know what you guys think down below. If you agree or disagree with my ranking, let me know if you did this challenge yourself and what hero you used to take it on with. Hope you guys are enjoying this. I have a ton of fun with this series. Hopefully we have some new series coming your way, so be on the lookout for later this week. That's all I have for you. Take care of yourselves. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.